طيب الحمد لله رب العالمين، أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه والتابعين وتابعيهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. So inshallah today بإذن ta'ala is the 7th of the month of Rajab. That's if the month of Rajab started last Sunday. Otherwise, if it started on Monday, then today is the 6th of Rajab, right? And we have this difference of the Muslim countries and here too, right? As I'm sure you got used to that now, so that is the case with Rajab 1439, and it matches the 24th of March 2018. And we are doing the book, The Disease and the Cure by Al-Imam Ibn al-Qayyim. And Al-Imam Ibn al-Qayyim, last time he started talking about al-ishq, falling into extreme love or infatuation, so much stuck, so much attached to something. How do you stop yourself from falling into that? Specifically, he's talking about individuals, pictures and people, right? So he mentioned that in order to cure yourself, he said you need to stop that problem before it happens. Then, if it happened already, you need to extract it and pull it out, uproot it, right? This problem of being attached, falling in love, falling into extreme, adoration of somebody, right? There is a way to treat yourself from that. And this is the reason why he authored the book. It seems he figured that the questioner has this problem. The one who asked him this question, he has this problem. So much stuck, so much, in so much love and adoration to someone. So he said that you can cure yourself from that. First of all, by blocking the avenues leading to this. Secondly, treatment after it happens, right? So in terms of the first one, which is the way to cut it out from the beginning, so you won't let it happen, right? First is غض البصر. There are two things. غض البصر, to lower your gaze, right? And we mentioned last time, he mentioned 10 things, 10 benefits for controlling your eyes, right? Briefly, he said, if you control your eyes, then you are obeying Allah. If you control your eyes, you will stop that poisoned arrow from coming towards you and hitting you. This eye, this look, is actually resembling a poisoned arrow. There is a hadith, but it's not an authentic hadith, but however, it gives a nice parable that the look resembles a poisoned arrow. It's not just an arrow, it is an arrow that is immersed in poison, so it will kill. So if you don't look, then you avoid that poisoned arrow. Third, it will make you more closer and comfortable with Allah Azza wa Jal. Fourth, it strengthens your heart and makes your heart happy and delighted. When you control your eyes, you don't look, you lower your gaze. Fifth, it will earn your heart light, nur. Exactly like letting your eyes loose, it will bring darkness to your heart. If you control your eyes, your heart will have light in it. Number 6, it will give you what is called firasa. It will give you that type of a sharp look where you will look at something, you will be able to distinguish whether it is right or wrong, true or false. Right? Number 7, it will give your heart firmness and bravery and strength. Number 8, it will block the entries of the shaitan. If you control your eyes, you will not leave any room for the shaitan to enter. All windows and doors and everything is closed up. The shaitan cannot get in. Number 9, it will have your heart free, right? Free to think about things that are beneficial to him. When you look, right, maybe your heart gets attached. If the heart gets attached, then you will not be thinking about things of interest for you. You will be just wasting time being busy with that thing that you looked at. So if you don't look, you control your eyes, then you will have room in your heart to focus on things that are beneficial and that are of interest to you. Number 10 is, he said that there is a relationship between the eye and the heart that will make each one of them influence the other, right? Influence the other. So if your eyes are good, your heart is good. Your heart is good, your eyes are good. If your eyes are corrupt, looking at bad things, then your heart becomes corrupt. If your heart becomes corrupt, then your eyes also become corrupt, right? Or even more corrupt, right? So there is this relationship of affecting and influencing one another. And that word here, number 10, they have يوجب انفصال. It should be انفعال. I don't know if you have the same, or انفصال with a صاد or عين. صاد, that's a mistake. It should be انفعال. انفعال meaning being affected, influenced by one another, right? So those are the 10 things that he mentioned, 10 benefits of lowering the gaze. Now, that was the first way. The treatment is, first, not to allow it to happen. Second, after it happens, how to treat it. Cure after it happens. So the first way, which is to block it, to stop it from happening, has 2 ways too. The first way is lowering the gaze. The second way, which will prevent your heart from being attached. الطريق الثاني المانع من حصول تعلق القلب اشتغال القلب بما يبعده عن ذلك. For the heart to be busy with things that will make him far away from that, far away from being attached. ويحول بينه وبين الوقوع فيه. The heart is busy in a way that it will stop, it will bar him from falling into this extreme love and attachment. وهو, what is that? What is it that will stop you, right, from your heart being attached? He says, وهو إما خوف مقلق أو حب مزعج. He said, it is either fear that makes you worrisome, right? Worrying fear, or حب, love that is مزعج, that is instigating. He explains, فمن خلا القلب من خوف فمتى خلا القلب من خوف ما فواته أضر عليه من حصول هذا المحبوب أو خوف ما حصوله أضر عليه من فوات هذا المحبوب أو محبة ما هو أنفع له وخير له من هذا المحبوب وفواته أضر عليه من فوات هذا المحبوب لم يجد بدا من عشق الصور. Right? So those who are trying to get the Arabic in there, I hope they can. You need to read it and read it again and read it again. Huh? So, but this is good. Yani, it makes you think, makes you busy. So he says, either fear that will make you worried, or love that is pushing you, instigating you, and prompting you. You're on your toes because of that love. Right? How? He says, if your heart does not have fear of what? Fear missing something that will be more harmful to you than achieving this thing that you love, right? So maybe that individual, you love that individual, but at the same time, you are afraid that if you get busy attached to that individual, you will miss out on something that is much more harmful, right? Or being afraid of achieving something is more harmful than missing out on that. So you are basically afraid. Right? This is the خوف مقلق, the worrisome type of fear. You get attached to something, but then you are afraid you miss out on something that is much more harmful, right? Or something will happen that is much more harmful than missing out on this person you are attached to, right? This is the fear. Or you have love now, محبة ما هو أنفع له وخير له من هذا المحبوب. You love something, you love this thing that you are attached to, but you love someone else much more, right? You love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is more beneficial to you than this, jazakallahu khairan, beloved. And if you miss out on him, meaning Allah in this case here, right? It's more harmful than you miss out on this thing, this individual, right? If you don't have this fear, right? Fear of missing out, and that missing out will be more harmful, right? Or fear that something will happen to you if you get attached, that's much more harmful. Something happens to you, much more harmful, right? Than missing out on this person you are attached to. That's the fear. The other case is the love. You love Allah more. If you don't have this fear and you don't have this love, right? Fear that's worrying you. And love that makes you, instigated to stay away from this individual, right? If you don't have this fear or the love, he says, لم يجد بدا من عشق الصور. You will have no way running away from being attached to these individuals and their pictures, right? Why? There is nothing, and you are afraid to miss out, which is more, putting you in a worse condition. And no love for something else, right? Much more than this individual. وشرح هذا, how to explain this, he says, أن النفس لا تترك محبوبا إلا لمحبوب أعلى منه. That the soul, the self, does not leave something that it loves except for something else that it loves more, right? أو خشية مكروه حصوله أضر عليها من فوات هذا المحبوب. Or fearing something bad that will happen, and if it happens, this is much more harmful than this beloved thing, right? وهذا يحتاج صاحبه إلى أمرين إن فقدهما أو أحدهما لم ينتفع بنفسه. This needs, the one who has this, he needs two matters. If he misses both or misses one of them, he will not benefit from his own self. لم ينتفع بنفسه. أحدهما, Number one, بصيرة صحيحة يفرق بها بين درجات المحبوب والمكروه. He should have correct insight by which he can differentiate between the different levels and degrees of what is beloved and what is hated, what is beloved and what is disliked. فيؤثر أعلى المحبوبين على أدناهما. So he will prefer the highest of the two beloved things over the lower of the two. ويحتمل أدنى المكروهين ليخلص من أعلاهما. And he will withstand and endure the least of the two disliked matters, so he will be saved. So he will save himself from the higher, the one that is higher in harm. Right? وهذا خاصة العقل. This is the special characteristic of the intellect, the intelligence. ولا يعد عاقلا من كان بضد ذلك. The one who is opposing that, going in the opposite direction, he is not considered someone who is intelligent, someone with intellect, someone who is wise. بل قد تكون البهائم أحسن حالا منه. Rather, the beasts, the animals, may be in a better condition than him. Right? يعني the animals, they see the fire, they run away. An animal, but they run away from harm. Right? They see a stampede, they don't want to go into the stampede. Right? Natural. But for someone, a human, whom Allah has given the intellect, he sees that if he goes there, he's going to be like the questioner, the one who asked the question to the sheikh in the beginning. He says he was struck with something. He knows if he continues, he's going to be completely destroyed. He tried to stop himself. He cannot stop himself. Every time he tries to stop himself, the fire intensifies, becomes more and more. That's the question. Right? That's the question. And that's why he is answering in this way. Right? So, he says here that you have to have insight by which you differentiate. So you see, this is one thing I love, another thing I love, another thing I love. I have many things I love, I like. And I have many things that I see, they are harmful. But this one I love, number one. This number two. This number three. Right? You list them in hierarchy like that, in order. And the harms also the same way. Number one is most harmful. Number two, less. Number three, less. Number four. So now if you are in a situation where you have to choose and select, you will choose what you love, number one over number 10. If you choose number 10 over number 1, it means your senses are not right. And he says, لا يعد عاقلا. Right? He was not considered someone with intellect. He's not intelligent. He's not sane. The one who prefers something he loves, but it's low in terms of degree. He prefers it over something that is, right? So this is the case. There are people who are like that, and it happens all the time, right? And also in terms of the harms, the same way. So this is the first one. You have to have insight by which you differentiate between the degrees and the levels of things you like and things you dislike. So you choose matters that you like, you choose the best one of them. And matters you dislike, you choose to fall into the least harmful one of them, right? Otherwise, there is a problem. The second, he says, second quality that the person he has to have, right, is قوة عزم وصبر. Strong willpower and patience, strong resolve, strong willpower and patience. يتمكن به من هذا الفعل والترك, by which he will be able to do or leave, right? Because he has to choose matters that he likes, he has to choose one, and matter he dislikes, he has to choose one over the other. He has to select, right? So now he has to have the insight to be able to detect which one is more harmful, which one is more beloved, to choose it, right? And he has to have strong willpower and patience, by which he will be able to do or leave. فكثيرا ما يعرف الرجل قدر التفاوت. Many times the person, he may know the degree of variance. He knows that this is number 10 and this is number 1. He knows, right? He knows how to differentiate. He has that insight. He has the insight to differentiate between the most beloved and the most harmful, or the most beloved and less beloved, most harmful, less harmful, right? He can detect the level and degree of something. ولكن يأبى له ضعف نفسه وهمته وعزمته or عزيمته عندكم. There is a yeah missing there for me here. عزيمة, not عزمة. وعزيمته. So his weak self, his weak willpower and aspiration, right, ambition, because of his weak self, willpower and ambition, he refuses to select the most beneficial, to prefer the most beneficial. He says, من جشعه وحرصه, because of his extreme greed, ووضاعة نفسه, and the lowliness of his self, وخسة همته, and the low degree of the ambition and the willpower that he has. Right? He said, ومثل هذا لا ينتفع بنفسه ولا ينتفع به غيره. The likes of this person, he does not benefit from his own self, and the others also will not benefit through him. وقد منع الله سبحانه إمامة الدين إلا من أهل الصبر واليقين. And Allah veiled the leadership in terms of religion. He prevented except the people of patience and certainty of faith. If you don't have patience and certainty of faith, you can never be an imam, a leader in the religion. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala won't allow that to happen. You want to be an imam in the religion, right? A leader for others in the religion, you have to have definite and certain faith, iman, yaqeen, and you have to have patience. If you don't, right, you will not be from the leaders. You will not be from the pioneers. You can't be. You can't be. And you can tell that this ability to detect, to distinguish, it shows knowledge and iman. And the ability to prefer and select what is better, this shows the patience, right? Because many times people know what's right from what's wrong, but they are too weak to prefer what is right over what is wrong. That's the problem. And those, he says, he doesn't benefit from his own self, and the others don't benefit from him either. And Allah does not make those types of people imams in the religion, right? فقال تعالى وبقوله يهتدي المهتدون. Allah Ta'ala said, and by his statements, those who are guided, they take guidance from what he says. بهداه بقوله يهتدي المهتدون. With Allah's statement, those upon guidance, they receive guidance. وجعلنا منهم أئمة يهدون بأمرنا لما صبروا وكانوا بآياتنا يوقنون. Surah As-Sajda, ayah number 24, it says, we made of them imams, leaders, guiding through our command when they were patient and when they used to have certain faith in our signs. Right? He said, وَهَذَا هُوَ الَّذِي يَنْتَفِعُ بِعِلْمِهِ وَيَنْتَفِعُ بِهِ النَّاسِ. And this type of a person, right, who has patience and yaqeen, certainty of faith, he is the one who benefits from his knowledge, and the people benefit from him or through him. وَضِدُّهُ لَا يَنْتَفِعُ بِعِلْمِهِ وَلَا يَنْتَفِعُ بِهِ غَيْرُهُ. The opposite to that, the one who doesn't have patience and certainty of faith, he does not benefit through his knowledge, nor the people benefit from him. He said, وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَنْ يَنْتَفِعُ بِعِلْمِهِ فِي نَفْسِهِ وَلَا يَنْتَفِعُ بِهِ غَيْرُهُ. Amongst the people are those who benefit from their knowledge within themselves. They have knowledge, they benefit within themselves from that knowledge, but the others don't benefit through him. He said, فَالْأَوَّلُ يَمْشِي فِي نُورِهِ وَيَمْشِي النَّاسُ فِي نُورِهِ. The first one, he walks in his light, and the people also walk in his light, under his light. Right? The one who has patience and certainty of faith. Right? He walks in his light, and the people walk in his light too, because he benefits himself and the others. Right? والثاني قد طفئ نوره فهو يمشي في الظلمات ومن تبعه في ظلمته. He said the second one doesn't have that. His light is put out, so he is walking in darknesses, and the one who follows him also is in his darkness. Right? Don't they say the blind leading the blind? That's it. So he is in his darkness, and the others are in his darkness too, following him in the dark. Right? وَالثَّالِثُ يَمْشِي فِي نُورِهِ وَحْدَهُ. The third one, he walks in his light all alone. يعني it's good for himself, but the others, they don't benefit from him. MashaAllah, he's good for himself only. Right? يعني he is guided within himself, but he is not guiding others. Right? In the hadith, Allahumma zayyinna bi zinatil iman, O Allah, adorn us with the adornment of iman, beautify us with the beauty of iman. وَجْعَلْنَا هُدَاةً مُهْتَدِينَ. Make us hudat, the plural of hadi, guiding to others. Muhtadeen, guided within ourselves. Right? Yani this hadith of Ammar ibn Yasir, radiyallahu anhu, when he led the prayer once and he made them short. He did not recite long and take long in the. So after the salah, they said, "Awjazta." They said, "You made it short." Of course, short but complete, not the. Right? Usually, they would expect maybe that he will recite longer surahs and take more time in the salah. So he says to them, "I don't care if I made my salah short, because I made dua in it. I made dua in it that Rasulullah ﷺ taught me. And this is part of his dua. This was part of his dua. The end of it, Allahumma zayyinna bi zinatil iman, beautify, adorn us with the beauty, the adornment of faith, and make us, waj'alna hudatan, make us guides to others, muhtadeen, guided within ourselves." Right? So this is the best type of people. Surah Al Asr, right? إلا الذين آمنوا, believed, وعملوا الصالحات, did righteous deeds, وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر, counseled one another to hold on to the truth, counseled one another to stick to patience, to be patient. right? So those are the people who are people of falah, yani success, right? طيب. So then the second way in which you will prevent your heart from being attached to somebody, from falling in love, right? In a way that you will be so harmed. Yani he says, it is for your heart to be busy with something that makes you stay away from being attached, from attachment to individuals. How? Your heart has to have خوف مقلق, fear that is worrying you, or love that is instigating you, pushing you, right? You are afraid that if you get attached to some individual, then problems will happen to you. Either you will miss something that is much more beloved to you, or something will happen that will be harmful. And the fear, the same way. You are afraid that you will be harmed more drastically by being attached to that individual. But then he says that naturally you won't leave something you like except for something that you like more, right? Or by being afraid of something bad happening to you, much more than getting that thing that you like, right? That's how it is. Yani that's how it is. Yani I was just reading yesterday about one of the kings, right? And he stayed sick for some time. The doctors they know what's his problem. They tell him, stop this, stop that, stop this, stop that. But he doesn't want to stop, right? To the point the family, they just pushed him to the side. Yani he was the king, he is no king anymore. They choose someone else and they put him instead, right? And then in the end, he dies because of the many sicknesses that he had. The doctors said, don't eat this, he doesn't want, he wants to eat it. Don't stay late, don't do this, he doesn't want. Right? So this is the thing. And in order for you to have this, yani to benefit from this, you might have naturally those feelings. Every one of us has that. Right? You love and you hate. Right? You love and you hate. Right? And you love different things. So you know that you love this and you love that, but you love the other thing much more than this one. You don't want to miss out on that thing because of this one. And the same way in terms of the fear. But then he says, you have to have two qualities also along with this. One of them is the insight, by which you can tell that you love this one more and this one less. This one is harmful, but this other thing is more harmful. Right? Some people don't have that, so they're not wise. Right? They're not wise. They cannot even detect, they cannot tell which one is a bigger problem. Right? They say, يعني كنا تحت المطر فصرنا تحت الميزاب. Right? Someone who was under the rain, right? You don't want to get wet. Right? But then, now from under the rain, you get under the gutter. You're getting all of the rain and even could be dirty too, pouring on your head. And you can tell that being under the rain, although bad, you don't like it, but it's better than being under the mizab, under the gutter. Right? If you cannot distinguish that, then he says, the one who cannot detect this, he's not called aqil, yani. He's not wise. He's not wise. Right? Secondly, you might have that ability, that insight to differentiate, but then if you don't have a strong willpower, then you might just ignore. Right? Ignore your knowledge. You visit a medical doctor and he's telling you do this and do that, your health, and then he starts smoking. Right? He's a medical doctor, right? So if he doesn't know the harms of that, who knows? He knows the harm, but he cannot stop himself. Many people are like that. So you have to, along with the knowledge of being able to differentiate that insight, right? You have to have the willpower and the patience, right? That's why he mentions then the ayah which says, we made of them imams guiding through our commands, because they were patient. When they were patient and they were having certain faith in our signs, بِآيَاتِنَا يُوقِنُونَ. And then he classifies those that you have the one who benefits from his knowledge and the other people benefit from him, and you have the one who is not beneficial, not to himself and not to the others, and you have the one who only benefits himself, right? Others don't benefit from him, but he benefits himself. He keeps the benefit to himself, right? So now he says, إذا عرفت هذه المقدمة فلا يمكن أن يجتمع في القلب. So there is a ha in that في القلبه. The ha is a printing mistake. في القلب حب المحبوب الأعلى وعشق الصور أبدا. He says, if you know this introduction now, this foreword that he made for you, right? He says, then you will know that it is not possible that in the heart there will gather the love of the beloved, which is the highest beloved one, and the extreme love to individuals, pictures, right? At all. He said, بل هما ضدان لا يتلاقيان. Rather, they are two opposites of one another. They do not meet at all. بل لابد أن يخرج أحدهما صاحبه. Rather, one of them has to expel the other companion, right? فمن كانت قوة حبه كلها أو كل فمن كانت قوة حبه كلها للمحبوب الأعلى الذي محبة ما سواه باطلة وعذاب على صاحبها، صرفه ذلك عن محبة ما سواه، وإن أحبه لم يحبه إلا لأجله أو لكونه وسيلة إلى محبته أو قاطعا له عما يضاد محبته وينقصها. So المحبوب الأعلى, the highest beloved, is referring to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? So he says, you cannot have together in the same heart loving the highest beloved one along with the pictures at all. Rather, they are two opposites. They cannot meet. Rather, he says, one of them must expel the other one. Right? One of them must expel the other one. So, the one whose strong love was all for the highest beloved one, his strong love was for Allah Azza wa Jal. The one whom loving other than him is false, is invalid. And actually, loving other than Allah is a torment, is a punishment for the one who has that love. Right? So, if that is the case, you love Allah the most, this will turn you away from loving whatever other than whatever besides Him. And if He loves it, then He wouldn't love it except for His sake, or because it is a means to loving Him, or because it will stop Him from the opposite, stop Him from what opposes His love or diminishes His love, right? So if you love Allah the most, this will turn you away from anything other than Him subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if you love it, if you love something, then you will love it for His sake, right? Or because it is a means leading you to loving Him subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? You like, for instance, money because you can donate, and Allah loves donation, right? You will love it for His sake, right? You would wish to be able financially so you can donate like this because it's beneficial, it's beloved to Allah Azza wa Jal. Or because it will stop you from the opposite of His love. Yani you love, for instance, your wife so that it will suffice you and stop you from falling into the haram matters, right? So you love for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not يعني equal or let alone more, والعياذ بالله, right? He says والمحبة الصادقة تقتضي توحيد المحبوب. The true love necessitates unifying the beloved one, making the beloved one only one. وأن لا يشرك بينه وبين غيره في محبته. وأن لا يشرك أو يشرك بينه وبين غيره في محبته. That you do not associate between Him and others in loving, in love. ويمقته لذلك ويبعده ولا يحظيه بقربه ويعده كاذبا في دعوى محبته. يعني he says, يعني if someone does that, loves Him and someone else besides Him, he will hate Him because of that. He will make him far away from Him. He will not bring him closer to Him, and he will consider him someone who is lying in the claim of loving Him. This is for the one who loves Him and someone else besides Him. He gives an example here. He says, إذا كان المحبوب من الخلق يأنف ويغار أن يشرك محبة غيره في محبته. If the beloved person from the creation, from the created beings, right, he would dislike and he would be jealous if another is associated in his love. Another one is associated in his love. مع أنه ليس أهلا لصرف كل قوة المحبة إليه. Although any created being is not fit, is not deserving to have all the power of love just for Him only, right? And you can see that يعني between even the kids, the children, baby, and they want to have your attention. If you pick the other child, oh, they get angry, they don't like it. Just natural, right? And so on and so forth. You can go more and more. Yani those individuals who do not deserve full attention, they don't deserve it. Still, if you love them and you love someone else, they feel jealous. They feel, they don't want this association. They don't want this partnership in love. They don't want to share, right? He says, فكيف بالحبيب الأعلى الذي لا تنبغي المحبة إلا له وحده. How is it then with the highest beloved one, whom love is not suitable except for Him alone, subhanahu wa ta'ala. وكل محبة لغيره فهي عذاب على صاحبه ووبال. Every love for other than Him, then it is nothing but torment, عذاب, right? Torment for the one who has it and has an evil consequence upon him. He said, وَلِهَذَا لَا يَغْفِرُ اللَّهُ سُبْحَانَهُ أَنْ يُشْرَكَ بِهِ فِي هَذِهِ الْمَحَبَّةِ. This is why Allah does not forgive association of partners in this love, with Him in this love. وَيَغْفِرُ مَا دُونَ ذَلِكَ لِمَنْ يَشَاءُ. He forgives whatever less than that to whomever He wishes. So he says, محبة الصور تفوت محبة ما هو أنفع للعبد بل تفوت محبة ما ليس له صلاح ولا نعيم ولا حياة نافعة إلا بمحبته وحده. So this love that the people have for individuals, for pictures, being attached, this will make them miss the love of that which is much more, who is more beneficial to the servant than the love to these pictures or individuals. Rather, it will make him miss loving the one whom there is no reform, no enjoyment, no beneficial life except by loving him alone, subhanahu wa ta'ala. He says, فَلْيَخْتَرِ الْعَبْدُ إِحْدَى الْمَحَبَّتَيْنِ. So let the servant, let the person choose one of the two loves, right? Either the love of these things being attached or the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So he goes on, he says, لا يجتمعان في القلب ولا يرتفعان منه. They do not combine in one heart and they cannot be taken away, both of them altogether. بل من أعرض عن محبة الله وذكره والشوق إلى لقائه ابتلاه الله بمحبة غيره. So you cannot have them combined and you cannot have them go away both. He says, so the one who turned away from loving Allah, remembering Him and longing to meet with Him, the one who doesn't have that in his heart, Allah will try him with what? Allah will try him with the calamity of loving other than Him. So He will torment him, He will punish him with it in this worldly life and in the barzakh in between this worldly life and the next life and in the next life. He said, فإما أن يعذبه بمحبة الأوثان أو بمحبة الصلبان أو المردان أو محبة النيران أو محبة النسوان أو محبة الأثمان أو محبة العشراء أو محبة الخلان أو محبة ما دون ذلك مما هو في غاية الحقارة والهوان فالإنسان عبد محبوبه كائنا من كان. So he says that if you don't have the love of Allah in your heart, Allah will try you with the love of the many other things, whether they are idols, whether they are the crosses, whether they are the fire worshippers, right? Or the women, or the different types of monies and properties, or the company, the friends and the company, right? Or something that is even less than that, much more despicable, much more lowly, haqara and hawan, right? So in the end, the human will be the slave of the one whom he loves, whoever that may be, right? As the poet said, أنت القتيل بكل من أحببته فاختر لنفسك في الهوى من تصطفي. You are going to be killed by the one whom you loved. So choose for yourself, in terms of love, choose for yourself who you would select. So فمن لم يكن إلهه مالكه ومولاه كان إلهه هواه. So the one whose God was not his owner and his ally, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then his God will be his own desires. Then he cites the ayah in Surah Al-Jathiyah, أَفَرَأَيْتَ مَنِ اتَّخَذَ إِلَهَهُ هَوَاهُ وَأَضَلَّهُ اللَّهُ عَلَى عِلْمٍ. Have you seen him who has taken his God to his desires to be his God, and Allah made him go astray upon knowledge. وَخَتَمَ عَلَى سَمْعِهِ وَقَلْبِهِ. And Allah sealed his hearing and his heart. وَجَعَلَ عَلَى بَصَرِهِ غِشَاوَةً. And he placed on his eyes a cover. فَمَنْ يَهْدِيهِ مِنْ بَعْدِ اللَّهِ. Who then will guide him after Allah? أَفَلَا تَذَكَّرُونَ. Don't you then remember? Right? So we will stop here, inshallah ta'ala. after that, the Sheikh will talk about the fact that al-ibadah, worship, is the extreme love, المحبة الكاملة, غاية الحب, مع غاية الخضوع, along with extreme or the utmost submission. Then he starts listing the different degrees and levels of love. علاقة, صبابة, غرام, عشق, and then تتيم and تعبد. These are the different words. It's like one after the other, right? All of them, they describe love. Once again, because the problem of the one who asked the question was falling in love in an extreme way, and that love leading to things that are haram, right? He wants to stop himself from that, he can't. Every time he tries, the fire goes more and more. That's the question, and that's what the Sheikh is trying to answer since we started this series. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. جزاكم الله خيرا.